I don't know why this keeps happening. People keep getting hired who want to physically assault the people that they're making products for. People are so mad about Siri. I don't even think, like, this is, I've said this before, I don't even think she looks bad. It's not even a thing. They're doing it intentionally. Yes, what is going on with this?
Hey, what's up, guys? Rick here. So today we're going to be talking about concerns that gamers have regarding CD Projekt Red, as well as their upcoming release of The Witcher 4.
Yeah.
Now, ever since the trailer for this game was released at the Game Awards, there's been a lot of discussion about the game. Obviously, it's a very successful franchise, but people are really talking about the choice of the main protagonist for this game, the latest Witcher, which is now Ciri.
Right.
Now, people are making a lot of different comments. We're going to focus on the lore-related concerns, but also people were criticizing the design, saying she's more masculine, but also some people said it's fine and maybe she's just a little bit older in this game. I don't know. I don't really think it's like the biggest concern for them right now. They have a lot of...
I don't think it's a big deal either. I really don't. I mean, I think people are really jumping the shark on this one. Like, just give it a little bit more time.
Other issues facing not only this game, but also CD Projekt Red as a whole. But that didn't stop journalists from basically labeling her as the latest girl boss. You can see rock, paper, shotgun.
Having Ciri as the Witcher 4 lead will help the game explore the Witcher world's sexism, says CD Projekt Red. It's also something of a Witcher origin story. See, like, the problem is that if I heard a company like Square Enix was trying to do this, or I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of another company I think like tells really good stories, I think it would be fine. Because, like, obviously it's a Middle Ages story. Women are, you know, historically oppressed in basically every society. So yeah, it could make sense. Like Atlas, yeah, like if Atlas said this about, you know, whatever if they said, "Oh, we're making another Metaphor game and it's going to be about exploring sexism," I would be like, "Oh, great. Okay, I bet this is going to be a good game." So it's really what I'm saying is it's really about the messenger more than the message.
These days, with this headline saying having Ciri as the Witcher 4 lead will help the game explore the Witcher world's sexism, says CD Projekt Red. Now, I'm going to be very critical of CD Projekt Red in this video, but I got to defend them here because that is not what they said. That headline is very misleading. If you can read the quotes here, they mention nothing about combating sexism in the world. Just kind of an embarrassing article here, but let's go back to the concerns about the main protagonist here. And
what a surprise. What a surprise that an article written is misleading. It is unbelievable to me how much people just put out bullshit like that without even trying. Like, you're just lying at the end of the day. You're just making up bullshit. Yeah, misrepresented clickbait article. I know, I read it. I saw this myself, what they said, and it had nothing to do with that.
Real ones, okay? Despite how games journalists might frame some of this stuff, people are not concerned about a woman taking on this role in the game as the main protagonist. In fact, a lot of people...
I think that some people are. People just liked Geralt and they wanted to play as him again. I don't really think it's that deep. They're like, well, I don't want to play as her. I want to play as the guy. Yeah, that's just... I really don't like why she Witcher. I don't even think they're thinking about that. They're like, oh, well, what happened to the other character? I liked him. Yeah, it's really not that deep. Like, you're expecting everybody to understand, like, the deep lore behind why women can't be Witchers and, like, some fucking, like, thing, like, Trial of the Grasses. You think people know what the fuck that is? They have no idea. They're just like, oh, wow, what about the guy? I liked him. He was cool. Yeah,
enjoy the character Ciri, especially based on Witcher 3, and I don't think a lot of people would have an issue with her having a big role in The Witcher 4. However, the fact that she's a Witcher is what's causing the controversy, because to many, it seems like it's violative of established lore. Now, I'm not some expert on Witcher-related lore, so correct me if I'm wrong about some things in the comments section, but it seems like very established lore that only men could be Witchers, that the task of going through the Trial of the Grasses is so physically brutal that a woman just physically could not make it through. That seems like that was a very established piece of lore, and a lot of people are saying
that was my understanding as well. Now, I'm not a an expert in this kind of stuff, but that was also my understanding. Not true? Well, you can say it's not true, but think about it like this. If it's not true, then why do so many people think the exact same thing? There clearly had to have been a statement or something like that about this that gave people this impression.
Violating that lore. Now, in response to that, there's been a lot of discussions and interviews by people at CD Projekt Red and on the team for this game, trying to dispel some of those lore-related concerns. We can see the director here, Kolemba, as well as the CD Projekt Red franchise and lore designer, Kane Maher. If I'm pronouncing that right, we'll talk about him later in the video, but they say outright that these changes to series character will not come at the expense of the series canon, but will instead represent a natural evolution of her character. And they go on to clarify 100% that she has in fact successfully completed the Trial of the Grasses. So she is a Witcher the same way her predecessors were, and there's no like pseudo Witcher status that she has. Sure. She outright completed the trial. So now you have to say, well, did they violate established lore? And based on this, they're trying to say that they're not. Yeah. And I don't really know. Like, this explanation really is lacking. And you think, why is this really an issue in the first place? And some of these concerns about the lore being switched around and rewritten to make this protagonist choice work.
I think that Sapkowski wasn't happy about The Witcher 3 also. So, like, even this doesn't really set me off. He hated it, right? And so it's like, if the benchmark is him liking the game, then based off of that benchmark, the game Witcher 3 was bad. He hates the games. Yeah, the author's a dick. No, he's a massive dick. I think it's funny. Like, I'm not, like, offended by this. I don't dislike him. It's just funny to me. But, yeah, apparently, yeah, he's a huge asshole.
Work has to do with the fact they're disregarding the original intent of the author who wrote this saga. Yeah. And you can see this headline here. CD Projekt Red admits original author was not consulted on series Witcher role in Witcher 4.
What a surprise.
So they make it very clear in an interview here, the developer as well as this Weber individual from CD Projekt Red, that they did not consult the author about The Witcher 4 or this choice of Ciri as the latest Witcher.
Yeah, so, again, this also is no problem if you contextualize it around the way that the author reacted to The Witcher 3. But, and this is like, again, in my opinion, it's like another time where like articles get written with like context omitted that ends up making it less problematic.
So they're asked outright by this interviewer at Eurogamer, has he explicitly said yes, that this choice is absolutely fine and that she could make it through the Trial of the Grasses? And Weber responds saying, I mean, I can actually give you a very good answer because it's written that Sapkowski usually gives. The answer is in the books. And in the books, Sapkowski called Ciri a Witcher multiple times, and Geralt called Ciri a Witcher in the books too. So I think that basically says what Sapkowski, the author, thinks about the topic. And I think that's a very lame answer. Okay, they're saying, I'm going to use the words of the original author to confirm what we're doing is right, but we also are just making up those words for him. He didn't actually talk to us. We didn't consult with him on the topic, so we're just going to infer what he might have thought about this subject. And I think that's a bit unfair, and I think that is something that is kind of concerning because it seems like they don't really care about the original intent that much, because if they did, they would definitely consult him about this issue and have an answer ready. They had to know they were going to be pressed about this choice of Ciri as a Witcher. But anyways,
I don't agree with this point personally, because a Witcher is a proper noun. It's like a title that means a specific thing inside of the lore. It's not like, for example, you know, there's terms that are used like I'm thinking of like an example, like an adjudicator or you know, bishop, or like actual terms that have operator, officer, like mercenary, like different titles, arbiter. These terms in a lot of cases have like a real life contextual meaning that are then co-opted for a video game, right? Inquisitor, Like, this means something different based off of, are you looking at Warhammer 40K or are you looking at the Spanish Inquisition? So the difference between that and The Witcher is that The Witcher is not a term that's used in real life in any capacity. It's invented for the books. So because there's no secondary definition of The Witcher that exists in a general speaking language, then it would logically mean that if he's referring to her as a Witcher, he means that in fact she is a Witcher. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the logic that I use.
They would also double down on this in other interviews as well. And you would see that individual, once again, the lore designer, franchise designer at CD Projekt Red, Maher, he would confirm that same sort of thing, saying, you know, they were called a Witcher by the author, which, again, people point out that she was often called a Witcher as sort of a, like, playful thing. And, again, it's kind of like a lame way to justify this choice. But, again, let's talk about this Maher individual. You can see they are, of course, the franchise and lore designer at CD Projekt Red. Now, they're having a bit of a hard time on Twitter today because of all of this related lore debate. People have been focusing on the lore designer, obviously, and they're starting to dig through his accounts, and it doesn't look great. Another person in the gaming industry who clearly has a disdain for gamers. Many such cases. So here's some of the tweets in this conversation, I guess implying that him and I think his wife will punch gamers together. Also, he is a journalist. Him and I think his wife will punch gamers together.
How does this keep happening? How do people that actively hate their own audience keep getting jobs making content for this audience? Why does it? I don't understand this. Yeah, it's so fucking weird, man. That, like, because I feel like there are so many of these cases where the people that are making these games have this, like, fucking, what's the word for it? They have, like, this resentment towards people that play the games. That, yeah, they hate their own customers. How do people keep getting hired like this? It's unbelievable. As soon as they vocalize this in public, they should be fired, in my opinion. I don't know. I think you'd probably need a few more points on the graph for me. But, like, this definitely is a point on the graph. It's crazy.
Together. Also, he is a journalist from The Gamer, which is known.
Okay. All right. Now everything makes sense. Here we go.
For a lot of slop articles and is constantly ridiculed by gamers for not being a good news source on the related subjects. On top of that, there's this conversation where he says gamers are already bad enough in response to a...
I say this a lot, but games receiving mixed reviews is a good thing. I don't think we need to snipe at each other because some people thought a game was better or worse than we did. That's not clever. It's petty and never comes across well or is helpful in any way. That's fine. Exactly, the gamers are bad enough. Yeah, it's just like... It's really weird to me to see this because it's almost like the people that work in this industry view their customers as some form of, like, unwashed, like, masses that are only worthy of being talked down to and patronized. And I don't really understand, like, how do you get like, you know, it's like if you're a vegan, I would say don't get a job at a steakhouse. Well, if you're a gamer, if you hate gamers, then why would you join an industry that caters to them? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's just weird. It's a Trojan horse? I guess so. Blaming the consumers is bad business? Well, this isn't even really blaming the consumers. This is having, like, a free-floating hostility and negative feeling towards towards your customers. I don't see how this is beneficial in any way to anyone. Yeah, because they're political activists, a culture war? I don't know. I mean, I just feel like if you look at it at a base value, it just seems so ridiculous.
Deleted post. But this one's really telling. It says,
here we go.
If you're an adult who loses their mind to the concept of pronouns, which everyone, everywhere, throughout all of history has used every single day, there is something wrong with your life. But it's not what you think it is. The wokes aren't out to get you. You're just a clown. I honestly feel sad when I see people who have very clearly...
I don't agree with this because it's always that people are... This is the issue. It's that they introduce pronouns into the game and then the people who are unreasonable are the people who don't like it. So it's like, if it's really not such a big deal, then why did you put it into the game in the first place? It's gaslighting. So like, and if you want to have a conversation about like whether they should be in the game or not, then that's different. But you can't make an appeal to triviality when you're the one who programmed it and coded it into the game. It's clearly not trivial to you. That's why you put it in. It's just like, it's amazing to see such like a just like a thoughtless argument being used. It's not about the programs, it's the compelling people to act in a certain way. Well, that's the thing, right? Is that the idea is that in order to create I think the reason why people don't like pronouns is because it creates a soft expectation of compelled speech. Because now everybody has to assert what their pronouns is if other people are doing it, right? You remember like the AOC thing where she was like apologizing for not having pronouns in her bio? I think that's a really great example of it. So this is the reason why people don't like pronouns. And also another reason why people don't like pronouns is very simple, because most people, I would say like 80-90% of people think that there's two genders and that's it. And so why would you need a pronoun when there's only two of them? It's just that simple. So that's really also another big reason. 99%? I don't know about it in the West. I have no idea.
They lost the ability to think because they have been swallowed whole by some inane grift. It is absurd that people can be so far gone that they will publicly go berserk at the sight of the word they, or even just pronoun.
Well, you put it in the game, so it matters a lot to you. I mean, I don't understand the logic. Like, what takes more work, writing a tweet or programming something into the game? Like, obviously, programming something into the game takes a lot more work. So, like, how is it that these people are unreasonable and crazy when, yeah, it's an overstretch? Yeah, exactly, right? Does your email have he and they? I have no idea. Like, I've never used pronouns in my life. The minority opinion's trying to gaslight itself on the majority is trying to force itself on the majority while gaslighting him at the same time. Yeah, I think that it's a very weird situation. And I think the reason why people don't like pronouns is because it is fundamentally antithetical to observable reality. And I think also it's the passive social compelled speech.
Really a new or even worthwhile observation, but people online are way too obsessed with other people's lives and choices. Who gives a shit what anyone else is doing once they're content and not harming anyone? Let people be happy and mind your own business. I
think that people would probably say that towards the people that are putting pronouns into the game. I think that's the whole point. It's that they never needed to be in the game in the first place and everything was fine, and now you're putting them in the game and people don't like that. I think that if you don't like pronoun, like, I would never not play a game because of pronouns, but if you don't want to play a game because of pronouns, you have every right to do that. And I think the problem that a lot of these people have is that they view the moral position of their argument to be able to supersede people's own, like, their free will. So, like, if you want to do this and you don't want to play a game with pronouns, you have every right to do that. And if enough people don't want to do that, then your game doesn't sell and your company goes out of business. Like, that's it.
So, yeah, this guy is all about pronouns, clearly likes the use of the term they. And again, with the gaming industry right now, this is the type of stuff people don't want to hear about someone in charge of parts of a game, especially the lore of a game that is so anticipated, like The Witcher 4. But there's some other tweets. It seems like they're very angry. They're trying to mock an individual for basically criticizing.
And I also think that, like, the whole thing of, like, oh, they're not out to get you is total bullshit. These people very regularly, like, as soon as somebody says something that is not part of their established type of thinking, they always try to cancel them and say bad stuff about them all the time. They'll call somebody racist or sexist or homophobic or whatever, transphobic. Yeah. So no, these people are they're absolutely out to enforce their will and enforce their viewpoint onto other people. Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
ugly character designs. It seems like they don't like people doing that. On top of that, you can see this comment. I don't know what exactly he's referring to, but you can see, on top of that, you can
let me see here. Actually, human woke mind virus strikes again. Yeah. So you're like making it a personal insult or whatever. And this is the problem is that, and you see this a lot with these types of people, is that when you actually ever question their narratives or question what they say, they'll just immediately result to these like weird personal insults and not even discuss what the topic is.
Criticizing ugly character designs. It seems like they don't like people doing that. On top of that, you can see this comment. I don't know what exactly he's referring to, but you can see 2 years ago, he said the worst thing about this is when it's also done in bad faith. Not only will YouTubers monetize your work, they'll do it while talking about how wrong and stupid you are in front of millions. Strong anti-woke audience. How is this considered acceptable is beyond me.
Well, this is it. And so these people are always in favor of restrictions on speech. Yeah, they want to tell you. Yeah, I wonder if this is a video that I did, right? It very much could have been. So yeah, freedom of speech, the guy's wrong. Yeah, exactly. And so this is what it comes down to. They're always pro-censorship because they know that their ideas and their viewpoints can't exist. Discussing a topic needs intelligence. Well, people like this, unless they're the ones restricted, exactly. I wonder if he blocked you? Probably. I don't know.
So clearly they have an issue with YouTubers, which, if it wasn't already confirmed,
well, the reason why they have an issue with YouTubers is because they can't control them. They can control games media, but they can't control people on YouTube. And because those people are like just outside of that sphere of influence. So that's why they don't like YouTube content creators. It's because the YouTube content creators are not accountable.
There it is, because journalists absolutely hate YouTubers with a burning passion. But on top of that, it seems like they have a negative view of YouTubers with a anti-woke audience, which is a lot of channels right now. And it seems like this is not a very good stance to have if you want to not end up the subject of videos criticizing you and the games you're working on, the studio you work at.
Well, everybody has a right to have an opinion. And I think this is the issue, is that these people think that you don't have a right to have an opinion. That's really what the problem is that they don't want you to have an opinion, and they want to tell you what your opinion is.
So we will see Vera Dark here. Thank you for doing the good work, some honest work here, finding their interactions with Alyssa Mercante. So basically, you'll play right here. She's just scrolling through with the @ of Alyssa Mercante, former Kotaku editor, of course, and they're regularly interacting with her posts for years.
Yeah, absolutely glazing her, 100%. And yeah, these people, all of them are part of the same ideological group. Yeah, these people are just a poison. Wherever they go, they just make it worse. That's it. They've been allowed to get away with it for so long, it's going to take a while for things to change. Well, here's really the issue. It's that a lot of these people, I think if enough people complain about it, it will go away. Because at a certain point, like all of the companies that are doing these things, they don't really care about any of these social issues at all. They're just trying to go where they think the most people are. So if you can make them think that this isn't the right way to go, then they'll go somewhere else. Studios are full of people like him? Yeah, but the studios are being run by people that are not like him.
And honestly, if you're the kind of person who's regularly interacting with someone like Alyssa Mercante and you're in the gaming industry, that is a really bad look. Let's just be honest about that. On top of that, let's see here that this isn't the first time that we've had someone at CD Projekt Red lashing out. In fact, it's not the second time. It's not even the third time. It's happened multiple times. And only a few weeks ago, the CD Projekt Red senior experienced designer was mocking a fan who was worried about DEI-related concerns. This was the initial interaction. IGN posting this Witcher 4 preview here, where this individual said, "I'm not excited over it, and the Witcher series is one of my favorite game series. CD Projekt Red is too deep into DEI, ESG bullshit," where this person goes, the
laughing
mouth
emoji
and a clown emoji. So this person at CD Projekt Red, at the very least, calling this person a clown for pointing out DEI concerns. And based on how you interpret this emoji here. You
I
might
mean, it's obvious he's calling him a clown, right? I mean, obviously is. That's fine, right? But if there's too many clowns, you've got to realize maybe it's worth building a circus. That's the issue. It's that, yes, you might disagree with these people or whatever. Definitely, sure. But the problem is if there's too many of them, you've got a problem. Yeah, I'm sorry, but people will still buy it. I think that, I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I think that the entire controversy with The Witcher 4 is overblown. I think it's totally overblown, but this is like a separate problem from the actual game itself. So, like, the game having Ciri as a main protagonist, I don't really think matters a whole lot. I don't really care about that. But I think the issue is more that, like, it's like an ongoing pattern that I think has been happening for like a few years now, where you have game developers and people that work in the games industry that actively resent their fans and actively talk shit about their fans. And I think that you're seeing the result of that in games that are coming out in order to spite this audience of people, and those games are failing. So I think that's really what the big difference is.
see this as telling her to shut up, where she interacts by saying, wow, that's so very professional of you. You know, I'm a customer and more than that, a fan of the Witcher series, and you're a senior experience designer at CD Projekt Red. Are you sexist too? Telling a woman to shut up and calling her a clown. And then he says immediate allegations along with misinterpreting. Just wow. So dismissing anything.
I mean, if you call somebody a clown, it's obviously an insult. What are we even talking about? It's like I mean, it's, you can say that, like, that's fine. But, like, how are you going to, like, it's the intellectual dishonesty of this is always crazy.
He was saying once again, and I went back to find this
about?
interaction, by the way, and it appears that this designer is suspended. His account is gone.
It's probably better for him. Yeah. Wow.
And it's only been a couple weeks since this interaction happened, so that's really weird. I
wonder
have not
what he
seen
did.
many professional people from the industry get their Twitter account suspended, so he must have been saying some stuff or doing
it's like if you get banned on Twitter, you have to do something really bad. Like, that's crazy.
Then I don't know, but his account is gone. And now let's just turn to CD Projekt Red in general, okay? So some people are asking the question, is CD Projekt Red woke?
Oh, I don't know.
And the answer is yes. Like, no doubt whatsoever. They are one of the most woke gaming companies out there. They are very open about it. And you could overlook these things if you're producing good games. But now when you're slowing things down and people...
They've made good games. That's my viewpoint. Cyberpunk is really good and The Witcher 3 is really good. Those are the two recent games they made. So, like, I mean, if you have a good track record like that, I'm ready to take a risk. They used to? Yeah, I know, but we don't know if they make good games now until the new game gets made, do we? So, yeah, I'm going to wait. I think that we're counting our chickens before they hatch here, guys. Yeah, I do.
People are worried about upcoming releases like The Witcher 4. People start paying more and more attention to the DI slop on their website and really just filled throughout their entire company. And this is a strange topic because we covered this about 2 months ago. The CEO actually quote tweeted Endymion, who's a YouTuber. We've talked about some of his reports on the gaming industry. And back a couple months in October, he talked to an insider.
I wish that more people would do this, by the way. This is why I don't watch a lot of videos about insiders, because I usually think that they're not true. And like, I feel like I've seen these things play out enough times to where, like, I don't believe any of that stuff.
Who revealed that the CD Projekt Red environment, their work environment, is just riddled with DEI. It's like you can't escape it over there.
Yeah.
And the CEO, Michael Nowakowski, felt so pressed by this claim. He made this tweet basically denouncing everything that.
I totally support him making this tweet. I think this is a good thing. I want to have direct and honest communication with people like this, where they just simply look at a topic and react to it immediately. It's a lie, though? Okay.
Dimion was reporting on, saying, seems we live in times where anyone can record complete nonsense and make a story out of it. CDPR, talent leaving, we have the lowest rotation of people in recent years. DEI-driven recruitment, we hire based on merit and talent alone, just as we make games driven by artistic vision alone. So yes, this whole claim that there's merit-based decisions, and they do that even with their choice of how they make their games and their who
no,
they
and he is lying about this, by the way. He is. I've seen the videos. I know what they're going to show.
All these things, and people gobble this up.
Yeah.
So they saw him going after a YouTuber who's anti-woke, and people were cheering this on. They're like, wow, oh my God, yeah, go after that grifter, yeah, prove those anti-woke people wrong. But these claims by the CEO were instantly challengeable. Like, I can't believe the gaslighting that this person tried to attempt.
This is why they don't do this.
I mean, you go to their website, they have a whole page. In fact, they have multiple sections dedicated to diversity and inclusion. It's like one of the first things they want you to know about their company. And you talk about merit-based. They have programs where they outright state that being a woman in the company will help you advance faster. They also have a program, Girls in the Game, that is only open to women. Men are not allowed to. Girls in the Game.
Well, here's really, I mean, all you have to do is you just read this right here. We're committed to creating strong, immersive worlds that provide gamers high-quality entertainment, which is why we try to create realities that are credible and internally consistent. So, like, how are you going to say that you're doing it for creative reasons when you're listing out all of the ways that this ideology permeates your game? Like, it's just, yeah, I mean, it's just was lying, right?
A program, Girls in the Game, that is only open to women. Men are not allowed to apply for this. So again,
it's crazy to me that people have this, like, I really wish that guys took this more seriously. I think most guys don't really care a lot about this, but they had this program since Witcher 2. Well, yeah, sure, but like it still means that what he said wasn't true then, right? Like I don't know why guys put up with like these different systems like this that are just put out to advantage girls for no reason. Reverse the genders, is it okay? Well, of course it's not. Yeah, I mean, that's it.
The whole merit-based thing, very interesting. But there's more and more if you keep going across here.
Yeah.
And they have one of their pillars, one of their goals. And the first thing is strengthening the DEI culture at CD Projekt by, among others, fostering inclusive leadership. And that is also another thing they look in terms of their leadership positions, diversity. It's an actual thing that impacts whether or not you're getting a leadership role, how diverse you are. On top of that, they have diversity not just with their employees, but with their games as well. As they state here, we are making efforts to place in our games characters of different personalities, social classes, ethnic groups, and sexual preferences.
So how do you go and say it doesn't affect the games? How do you do that? You literally are fucking, like, oh God. This is absolute insanity. I think we're close to the breaking point. People are so tired of this shit. Yes.
We show the inequality that exists in the world, the diverse paths that people take, as well as various problems they must overcome. Yes, very wholesome Chungus. I'm sure gamers will go wild over such
and a lot of people, somebody in chat said, well, this isn't Cyberpunk 2077, and it's good. I think that that's a great point. That's a great counterpoint. But the issue is that it's also at their workplace. Like, I can't see a single reason why giving a person an advantage in a workplace because of an immutable characteristic like ethnicity or gender or sexual orientation is a good thing. Like, I think that, yeah, sure. Like with the games, it's fine. Who cares?
It made me almost shed a tear, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, it gets so crazy with them. They literally won an award for DEI. They won a DEI award because they're that entrenched in this stuff. But the CEO told you
They
none of
have
this is
those?
happening right
Are
to
you kidding
your
me?
face. Yes, CD Projekt
Yeah.
Red is woke. I don't think there's any debate about that. And everything going on with The Witcher 4 and some of these choices and some of the concerns about the lore being violated or not respected, and also some of the behavior of the people involved with that project, I think there's reason for concern. But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with The Witcher 4. It's going to be a game that's highly anticipated no matter what, but there seems to be some rolling momentum about criticism being lodged towards not only that game, but CD Projekt Red.
I think it's just a buildup of resentment. It's a buildup of resentment, and it's people that are seeing red anytime that they see any sort of like a female character that's expressed in a story. I think that's what happens the most. And we'll see what happens. Yeah, like I'm still reserving judgment myself personally until I see real gameplay, because I think that CD Projekt Red has earned that they've earned that goodwill, because I think they've made good games. But in terms of the way that their studios run, I can't imagine any sort of a good justification for giving people a priority based off of an immutable characteristic. It's just bad no matter how you look at it. They changed the engine though. Yeah, but there's Unreal, like, for example, Black Myth Wukong runs on Unreal 5, and I think it's a great game. So, like, if you want to tell me, like Witcher 4 is going to be bad because it's on Unreal, like, that's not really a good argument to me.
Well, but for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, I think that really, as I said, I'm still willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I'm still willing to, like, say, you know what, it doesn't matter. It'll be fine. We'll wait and we'll see what happens. I think that's what I'm still going to do. I'll be real. Like, I'm still not going to go out on a limb and say the game is going to be bad yet. Excuse me. And CD Projekt was already like that, always trying to be holier than the Pope. If the current cultural narrative was different, they would switch instantly. Well, that's the way with every company, right? It's nothing really special with them at all. So yeah, I'll wait for your sponsored stream and save the money. Well, I don't know if I feel like after all the stuff that I say, I'm probably not going to get a sponsor from these guys. I wouldn't expect that to happen. Now, maybe, who knows? But I just don't really think so. And are you aware of many from the Witcher 3 developer team and Cyberpunk team left? You're right. But, I mean, again, I think that the studio has earned my goodwill, and I will give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, it costs me nothing. Like, I don't need to get upset. I'll link you guys a video. Give it a like. This is a... Like, I think that the big problem is that you have a massive contingency of people that are making video games that actively hate their core audience. And you can say that, oh, well, these games are it's just a small minority of people. I think that is the biggest fucking cope that you can possibly have. If you think that putting in a non-binary character or something like that is going to go over better with the average Walmart American, are you fucking crazy? Are you insane? Absolutely. Who the fuck thought that? So if you're relying on like some kind of like this like mainstream wide audience that's not going to care about this stuff, didn't those people just elect Trump? What are you talking about? That's not even true. Like, yes, really, you live in a fucking bubble. Yes, it's even more unpopular on the internet, or sorry, in real life. At Walmart America, it is. And we make dog shit food. I don't eat it. I'm not touching Witcher 4, especially more due to the blatant lack of respect to the source material, so fuck them. Again, I, as somebody who never finished the game, I could give less of a fuck about that. But I do hope that it's good, man. I'm a Costco guy. Okay, all right, let's not get started with that. So yeah. Deciding the future of a game way before anybody spends the decent amount of money of time with it has to stop. It's a bad cultural trend. I disagree. Because if people don't like where a game is going, it's like the guy that's like, why are you shitting on my plate? And then the guy says, how do you know it's shit? It's not even out yet. I feel like that's kind of, that's probably a really good example of that for me. And I feel like this is the way I would see it. If people don't like the way that the content is in a game, I think letting the developer know is always a good idea. And of course, people are going to make up their mind immediately because that's what they're going to see. It's more about changing the main character. People would complain if they made God of War 5 and made you play with Atreus only. That's a really great point. I think that you're right. And I think it's actually just that simple for a lot of people. They don't like gamers. Sounds like they don't like money. Yeah, these video game companies really need to stop hiring people that actively hate their target audience, because these people will poison games and include things that alienate people that will buy the games. I don't know why this keeps happening. And I feel like this is definitely on the downswing and it's going away. The ESG funding has run out eventually. Well, it already has. That's why a lot of these companies are abandoning this type of thinking. So yeah. And why do modern game devs hate gamers so much? The reason why modern game devs hate gamers is because they view gamers as being culturally regressive, and they think that gamers are trying to hold on to a worldview that is antiquated and out of date. So they think that gamers, and they also think that they're losers, like just straight up. They think, you know, people like this Rev or me, like whatever, like just gamers that care about this are losers. And so it's basically a combination of disagreeing politically, thinking that these people are of a lower social class, and then also having a moral mandate to think and do what you want to them. So, like, those are the reasons why. I mean, I disagree with them. I think they're stupid. But, like, if you want the example and, like, what the explanation is, there's the explanation right there. So, yeah, don't forget the gaslighting. Yeah, but the gaslighting is an outcome. Here's the thing. The gaslighting is an outcome of, what do you call it? The lack of respect and thinking that they're above you. Right? That's it.